In this video, we're going to go to an Anglo-Chinese School Junior Preliminary Examination 2024 Primary 6 Mathematics Paper 1 Booklet B. So let's get started on the first question. Right, it says here, find the value of 20.1 minus 0.68. Okay, so what we can do is, I'll just write here that we can make the 20.1 to two decimal place, right? Minus 0.68. Okay, so we make this and let's draw out the line, the workings, right? So minus 0.68. That's what I see over here. All right, so now the thing is that, yeah, 20.10 is the same as 2010 minus 0.68. Okay, first is we can cancel this. We can not cancel it, but just add a 1 at the top over here. Okay, so 0 will become number 10. Right, that's what I see over here. Okay, and then that means we need to cancel 1, and then this will then become 0. So I'm going to make this red. Okay, so this will become 0 in this case over here. All right, so now the next thing is what's 10 minus 8? So in this case, this is 2. So next one, 0 and 6. You cannot have 0 and 6. So that means we need to make this into a 10 instead, right? Small little 10. And then you cannot make this 0. So this will become 9. So just copy this. Paste this over here. This should be 9. Oops. This should be 9 instead. And then after that, this 2. Let me just make another line. This will be 1. That's what you see over here. Okay, so from here, what we can do is have 10 minus 6. This will be 4. And then point. So we have 1, 9 or 19. It's just 19. It's by C over here. So there you go. The answer to this question is 19.42. All right. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. Question number 17. Find the value of 5 over 7 times 8 over 15. Okay, so what we can do is we can cancel things out. Okay, so for 5 and 15 over here, what we can do is we can cancel 5. Okay, right? Or let me just make this a little bit easier to see. All right, so from here, we can cancel things out. So we can cancel 5 and we can cancel 15. So in this case, 5 divided by 5 is just 1. And then let's put 1 over here, just 1. And then 15 divided by 5 is 3 in this case over here. Okay, so that's roughly about it. And what would this equal to? So you have 1 times 8. So essentially it's just 1 times 8 over 7 times 3. Okay, and in this case over here, the final answer is, what's 8 times 1? It will be 8. And then 7 times 3 will be 21. And that's it. Right, that's your final answer over here. Okay, so the answer to this is 821. 821. Okay, let's move on to question 18. So the figure shows the net of a cuboid. The cuboid has a square base. Find the volume of the cuboid. Okay, so in this case over here, we can just say that for the cuboid, we can take it as you have the length, right? So this is what we call length. So the length over here. So this is the length. And then this thing over here, this small little thing is what we call the breadth. Okay, breadth. So we see over here. Okay, so I think from here we can make this a little bit easier to see. I'm gonna make, say, let B be breadth, so it's easier to see over here. Okay, so instead of breadth we have B. Then this B, okay, I'm gonna put it here. Okay, this is B, and this is, this is also B over here. Then this is also, in this case, right arrow. This is also B, right? Okay, so that means this two is also B and B. Okay, so from here, I think you kind of know how to, hopefully you kind of know how to solve this, right? So we also know that this is also length. Okay, so from here, 2B's, right? 2B not 2B equal to 8 centimeter, right? 1b is equal to 8 divided by 2. This will become 4 centimeters. Okay, so we have 1b, 2b, and then we want to get the length as well. So 20 centimeters is equal to 2b plus 2 length, right? So we know b over here, so we can just say that 20, all right, is equal to 2 times 4 plus 2 length. Okay, so 20 is equal to 8 plus 2 length. 2 length is equal to, not 20, 2 length is equal to 20 minus 8. This will give us 12. So 1 length, right, is equal to uh, 12 divided by 6, 2, sorry. This will be 6 centimeters in this case over here, right? So now we know that we have the length and then we have the breadth as well. So length times breadth. And then we also have the height. Okay, so from here, the volume will be equal to, so we have a square base. So in this case, square base is equal to uh, b times b, which is equal to, square base is 6 times 6, no, 4 times 4 equal to 16, right? Centimeter square, right? Okay, so I'm going to put like this over here, right? So volume is equal to square base, right? Over here, square base times, in this case, length as well, right? Which is equal to 16 times, what is the length, is 6. This will then become, so 6 times 6, 36, so it should be 96 centimeter cube over here. So there you go. So that's the answer. So the answer to this is 96 centimeter cube. Right. Okay, there you go. Let's move on to the next question. All right, we have question 19 over here. Shade two squares to form a symmetric figure with AB as the line of symmetry. So we always want to get the other side to be symmetric. So first we have here, so this is symmetric. What about this? So we need to make this symmetric as well. So we're going to put it here, right? Okay, then we have this symmetric as well. So this one and this one is not symmetric. We are missing one more. So we will just copy this and paste it over here. So that's it. So this is symmetric. That's what you see over here. There you go. Right. So let's move on to the next question. Question 20. In the figure below, find the shaded area. So we know this and this, okay, is equal parts. So we have 1 and then we have 2. Okay. So in a way, let's put in A and let's put in triangle B. Right. Okay. So for this one, what we can do is, actually we don't need this. We just need this triangle A. Right. Okay. So, or we call it the non-shaded part. So non-shaded area, or which is a non-shaded triangle area. Okay, so this is the base, right? So I'm gonna write here base, right? This is the base, and then this is also the height. The height is over here, this case, right? So this is the height. Okay, so base of non-shaded triangle is equal to 12 divided by 2, and this will be equal to 6 centimeters. Okay, so these two sides are the same. So this is the base, this is also the base. So two bases. Okay, so yeah. So now the next thing is we will know the height. So then we want to get the area, non-shaded triangle area is equal to half times base times height, which means half times. So what's the base is 6 times height is 5. So this is basically half times 30, which means it's 15 centimeter square. Okay, now we know the non-shaded triangle area. So in this case, the shaded area is equal to basically rectangle area minus non-shaded triangle area. That's what you see over here. So the rectangle area is basically 12 times 5 minus 15. Okay, so this is the rectangle area. So let me bracket this so it's easier to understand. So 12 times 5 in this case over here. And this will become 60 minus 15 will be 45 centimeter square. There you go. So that's the answer, 45 centimeter square. Oops. All right, let's move on to the next question. Question number 21. A. Find the value of 2/5 times 3 over 8. So I'm going to make this easier to see. All right, so it looks something like this, 2 over 5 plus 3 over 8. So we need to make the denominator the same in order for us to add. So we need to multiply by the common multiple. So this will be times 5, and then times 8, and then times 8 as well at the top. Okay, that means this 2 over 5, if you times 8, what do you think this will equal to? 2 times 8 will be 16, then 5 times 8 will be 40, right? In this case over here. All right, then we add. So what happens to 3 out of 8? What do you think the new fraction will be? So 3 times 5 is 15, and then 8 times 5 is 40. That's what you see over here. Okay, so 16 plus 15 over 40. And what will this become? This will become... So always remember when fractions, right? After you get your answer, so 16 plus 15, this will then become 30, sorry, not 32, 31 out of 40. Okay, so can you simplify, right? Always simplify your fractions, but in this case, we can't simplify, right? So we will remain 8 as 31 out of 40. Okay, let's move on to part B. Express 2.68 as a mixed number in the simplest form. So 0.68, so 0.68 is equal to 68, and then we divide it by 100. Okay, so which is also equal to basically 68 out of 100. Okay, in this case over here, right? So 68 out of 100, what can we divide with? So you can do simply just divide it by 2 in each case over here. So for 100 divided by 2, okay, for 68 you divide it by 2 as well. And what will this equal to, right? This will equal to 34, right? So 68 is equal to 34 divided by, and this is 50. Can we divide this by 2 again? Yes, we can, right? So with this, we can simplify this. So we divide by 2 again for both the numerator and the denominator as well. Okay, so from here, 34 divided by 2, this will give us 17. For 50, it will give us 25. So can we further divide by 2 for this, or even 3? Not really, right? Divide by 5, you can't really. So this means that 68 out of 100 is basically this. Okay, so from here, I mean, I can put it like this as well, the equal sign. Okay, so now we know that 0.68 is, so 2.68 as a mixed number is equal to 2, and then we have 17.25 in over here, 25. There we go. So that's the answer, right? The answer is 2, 17 out of 25. Okay, let's move on to question 22. So Peter placed some cups into a box and the total mass was 4 kg. James placed some plates into a similar box and the total mass was 10 kg. The plates were 3 times as heavy as the cups. Each statement below is either true or false or not possible to tell from the information given above. For each statement, put one tick in the correct column, right? So true, false, and not possible to tell. Okay, so we don't know how many, what do you call this? How many plates? So I'm going to write this down here. We don't know the the number of cups and plates, right? But we only know one box, okay, over here. All right, so we don't know number of cups as well. Okay, so mass of plates was 9 kg. So from here, so for A, the mass of plates was 9 kg. So what we can do is for A over here, gonna write A, right? In this case, we can draw the models, right? So we know that for both like that. So this is the box, right? So we have this box and we also have another box. So we know that in both boxes, the plates, I'm gonna copy this and paste this over here. The plates were 3 times as heavy as the, what do you call this? The plates over here. So 1, 2, and then 3. I'm gonna put like this. Okay, and then after that, the plates are like this. Okay, and so the plates were 3 times. So in this case, I'm gonna write here as plates. And then over here, this is cups. Okay, all right. So from here, if we say the mass of the plates was 9 kg, right? 9 kg. So we know the total also, right? Sorry. The total is 10 kg. Oops. Let me write here 10 kg. Right. And then in this case, this is 4 kg. Right. As what I see over here, this is 4 kg. So we write down, right? So if so plates is 9 kg. So that means box with plate plates equal to 9 kg. That means box is equal to 10 minus 9 is equal to 1 kg. And then with that said, cups is equal to 4 kg, 4 minus 1, which is 3 kg. So cups, cups, and this means that plates is 3 times heavier than cups, right? So plates are 9 kg and then cups are 3 kg, which is correct. Okay, that's the ratio lah, right? All right. Okay, the easiest way is to use ratio. So to use ratio, we can just use plates to cups, which is 9 is to 3. That means 3 is to 1, which means this case, this is correct. Correct. There you go. So that's the answer. Okay. So in this case, we're going to put a tick for true. Okay, let's move on to the part B. The mass of the box was 1/4 the mass of the cups, in this case over here. So if you were to go to this example over here, right? Since the cups is, if cups is equal to 3 kg, that means box is 1 kg. So ratio, so box to cups is equal to 1 divided by where? Divided by 3, which means 1/3. So in this case, this is false. So in this case, it is not 1/4, but 1/4, but 1/3. 1/3. Okay, so for this case, that means this is false. So I'm gonna draw a rectangle over here, and wait, I'll maybe move this like this. Okay, if cups, so in this case is false, right? Okay, last one. The mass of one plate is more than the mass of one cup. Okay, so for C, I think for C, if I were to put another rectangle over here just to cover C, we actually don't know the number. We don't know the number of cups and plates. Therefore, to tell. Okay, so that's it. That's for C as well. So for this, not possible to tell. Okay, hopefully this makes sense. Let's move on to next question. Question 23 says here, the timetable below shows the time of 4 different trains from city X to city Y. Train leaves, and these are the different timings. Okay, so find the time taken for train D, which is this one, to travel from city X to city Y. Give your answer is an hour and 30 minutes. Okay, so city X to city Y. So 9:05 a.m. to, I'm just gonna put like this, right? To 9:20 a.m. is equal to 15 minutes. So 9:20 a.m. to 11:20 a.m. is equal to 2 hours. So that means 9:05 a.m. to 9:20, right? In this case, is equal to 2 hours and 15 minutes. There you go. So the answer to this is 2 hours and 15 minutes. Okay, let's move on to question number part B, right? Part B. So it says here, Sue wants to take the train to City Y. Her watch shows 8:20 a.m. when she arrives at City X. She realized that her watch is 10 minutes slower. What's the earliest time she can reach City Y? So slower means that if shows 8:20, oh my, this one is smaller. Okay, so if it shows 8:20 a.m. and 10 minutes slower, means like this case, whoops, the actual time is equal to 8:20 a.m. plus 10 minutes is equal to 8:30 a.m. So for this case, closest train closest to 8:30 a.m. is train C, which arrives at city Y at 11 a.m. in this case, right? 11 a.m. So therefore the answer is 11 a.m. Okay, let's move on to question 24. Okay, so a rectangular piece of paper is folded as shown below. That's what you see over here. So now find angle Y. So angle Y over here. Okay, so for any, I'm gonna draw this. Any folded angles. That's what you see over here. Always create two of the same angles, right? So this is 78, and then these are the same angles. That's what you see over here. So what we can do is we can create another angle. So I'm gonna make this solid instead. Okay, so this is angle X, right? And this is also angle X. And we know that this over here is 78 degrees. So what we can do is we can grab this, right? This angle, and then minus 90 degrees. So this one over here is 90 degrees. Let me make it small. So this is a 90 degrees angle. And then once we are able to get this angle, we multiply by 2 and minus 90 again, which is this also. Okay, so from here, we can get so actually you can get the angle here. So this angle over here, can you guess what's the angle? 78 degrees, right? This is the angle 78. So when you fold, it will still be 78 degrees. So from here, we can just say this is also 78 degrees, right? This is the same. So from here, let's get the angle x. So angle x is equal to 180, then minus 90, minus 78. So it's 90 minus 78. This will give us 12 degrees. So we know the angle x is 12 degrees. So that means angle y, right, over here will be 90 minus 12 minus 12. So this is 90 minus 24, which means this is 76. No, 66, right, degrees. Yep, there you go. So the answer to this is 66 degrees. So just a folded paper will create two of same angles, which is in this case angle x. This case over here. Okay, so now the answer to this is 66 degrees. All right, let's move on to the next question. Question number 25. Okay, so Tom and Jerry were playing hide and seek at the playground. The grid below shows the positions of the different points they were standing. Okay, wow. Okay, so you have A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K until Z. Okay, interesting. Tom walked directly from point J. So I'm going to put point J as red to point W, right? So another circle, point W over here. So in a straight line. So straight line, that means he just walked from J to W like this. Okay, so in which direction did Tom walk from point J? So from point J, we got north, and then we got south, right? This one, and then we got east, north, south, east, and we also got west. So that means if this is the direction, it should be northeast. So the answer to this is north dash east. In this case over here, right? So the arrow is pointing this way in red. Okay, so northeast. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Jerry was standing a certain point facing from a certain point facing point A. He turned 180 degrees clockwise and faced point Z, which were all the possible points Jerry could be standing. So point Z, and then a certain point facing A. Okay, so in the end, he was pointed to Z. So I see over here. So I'm gonna draw an arrow like this. Maybe this. I'm gonna put Z. So he was facing A. Okay, so then he turned 180 degrees, and then he faced Z. All right. So basically, 180 is this. Wait, actually, is the arrow, and 180 is this one. Okay, so this is 180 degrees. 180 degrees. Yeah. So which one do you think he could be standing on? Pointing A, and then he turned 180, and then he goes here, right? So from here, that means we draw a line like this. He's facing A, and then the 180 will look something like this. So he will be like this. Okay, so from here, he was looking at A, and then turn 180, he'll be facing Z. So technically GMT lah, essentially, or MGT. So in essence, is this lah. Okay, I'm gonna highlight green for the oval. Okay, so it's G, right? We got the M and we got the T. Okay, yep. So if you were at G, you can point. Yeah lah. So okay, think this makes sense. All right. The answer is M, G, or GMTG, M, and then T as well. Okay, let's move on to the next question. All right, question 26. Okay, question 26. The line graph shows the volume of water in a tank over 40 minutes. Tab A was turned on for 40 minutes for water to flow into the tank. 15 minutes after tab A was turned on, tab B was also turned on. Okay, so in this part A, what is the increase in volume of water over the first 10 minutes? So you get the first, what do you call this, volume of water in 0 minutes to 10 minutes. Okay, but first thing we need to know is how many gaps are there, right? So we have one, okay, two, three, four. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 gaps. So for 4 gaps, okay, 4 gaps is equal to 100. In this case is liters. Okay, then 1 gap is equal to 100 divided by 4. This will give us 25 liters. That's what you see over here. So from 0, we'll get 1, 2, 3 gaps. So that means in this case, let's make this a little bit smaller. 3 gaps. Okay, I'll actually put this instead over here. So 3 gaps is equal to 3 times 25. And this will give us 75 liters. Okay, so 0 over here is 75 liters. I'm going to put here 75 liters. Okay, 10 minutes. How many is 10 minutes? So 10 minutes, how many gaps is this? 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 100 and then 125. Okay, so 15 minutes. What is the increase of volume water? So 0 minute is 75 liters. And then 10 minutes is equal to 125 liters. So what's the increase in volume of water over this? So we can just have, for this case over here, increase in volume in, over here, in first 10 minutes is equal to 125 minus 75. Okay, and in this case this will be 50 liters. So the answer is 50 liters over here. Okay, let's move on to part B. Okay, let's go to part B. It says here how many liters of water flowed into the tank in 1 minute after tab B was turned on. So tab B was turned on in 15 minutes over here. So I'm going to write here tab B, right, in 15 minutes. Okay, so in this case over here, what we want is to get the 15 minutes and then 20 minutes. So we know the difference. Okay, so once we know the difference, we know how many minutes is this. So for 15, this is 100, 125, 150. So this is 150 liters. Okay, I'll just put 150 lah. And then for 20, it is 225. 225 liters. In this case over here. Right, so I will say after 15 minutes or from 15 to 20 minutes, water flow is equal to 225 minus 150, is it? Yeah, I always forget. Go to 75 liters. Okay, so since we know, so from 15 to 20 minutes, okay, is basically 5 minutes. So 5 minutes is equal to 35 liters. Then 1 minute is equal to 75 divided by 5. This should be 15 liters. And that's it. Okay, so 15 liters is how many liters of water flowed in tab B after 1 minute. All right, that's it. Let's move on to the next question. Question 27. So Eileen had some posters. She bought 5k new posters and added them to the posters she had. However, 2 new posters were torn and she was left with 18k posters. Express the number of posters Eileen had at first. So she was left 18k posters. So we work left 18k, right? Posters, right? So but before two new posters. So before two posters torn, that means it is basically 18k plus two posters. Okay, then lastly, she bought 5k new posters. So before uh, bought new posters, it's basically 18k plus 2 minus 5k. And this will be 13k plus 2. And that's it. So the answer to this question is 13k plus 2. All right, let's move on to the next question. Question number 6 over here. 6 similar cubes were stacked to make a solid figure such that it has the following top and front views. So we have the top view over here and then the front view over here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to, draw the different cubes over here. Okay, so we have the top view, the front view, and the side view. So I'm going to draw the top view first because it's easy. So remember we have 6 cubes, right? So we have 1, so we have 2, and then we have 3. So the top view is easiest because I think visually, right? 1, 2, 3, layer by layer, basically. So you have 4 and then 5. Okay, so I have 5 cubes in total. Okay, so now we have this as the top view. The next thing is we want the front view. Front view has 1 at the side. So you can either, let me just copy one of this. Okay, you can either have this at the side or this. Because at the base is already 5, so we only can put one more cube. It's going to put here so it's easier to see, or something like this. Okay, either way, I will just put like this. So at least, yeah, this is easier to see. Okay, how about the side view? It's just 1, 2, 3, right? So in this case, I'm going to draw the side view, which is basically 1, right? And then 2, and then 3. That's it. So that's the answer. That's the side view. All right, let's move on to question 29. All right, so question 29. Xiang went to a shop to buy a bag. The shop gave a discount of $5 for every $25 spent. Xiang paid $96 for a bag. What was the price of the bag before the discount? So over here, if I pay $25 spent, that means I will get a $5 discount. So that means also the same time is $25 spent means I pay how much, which is basically 25 minus 5, which is $20. So if I spend 25, I pay $20. Pay $20. Okay, so that means number of dollars 5 discount, okay, is equal to 96 divided by 20. Okay, so in this case you will have 4 remainder 6, not 4, 24 remainder 16, right? Or we just round up to just be 4, right? So that means total discount is equal to $4 times 5, which is $20. So her total discount was $20. Then price of bag before discount is equal to 96 plus 20, which gives us $116. All right, that's it. Okay, so that's the answer to this question over here. So it's $116. All right, let's move on to the next question. All right. Question 30. So STUV over here is a rectangle made up of triangles ACDE, so ACDE, and a four-sided figure B. The ratio of the area B to the area C is 3 is to 1. Okay, so I'm going to write this down so it's easier to see. So B is to C is 3 is to 1. Okay, the ratio of the area A to the area D to the area E, so A, D, E is 2 is to 3 is to 1. Okay, so I'm going to write down again. A to the D to the E is equal to 2 is to 3 is to 1. Alright, so in this case, express the area of A as a fraction of area B. Okay, so we want to get the answer A over B. Right, the answer, this is what we're looking for. Right, so AB, what is it equal to, right? From what over what? Okay, so from here, if you have do this kind of question before, you might be able to solve this. Okay, so as you can see over here, if I were to draw this line, okay, I'll make this red. Right, so any triangles with the base the same as the length of the rectangle is always half. That's what you see over here. So triangle, not triangle lah, but B plus C is a triangle in the rectangle S, T, U, and V. So rectangle S, T, U, and V, right? So that means they are so area of B plus C is half of rectangle STUV. Okay, like this. Right, so that means also that so area of A plus D plus E is equal to, so if since we know BC is half, is basically rectangle STUV, area of STUV minus area of B plus C, which is also the same as area of rectangle STUV minus half of rectangle STUV, which means this is equal to half of rectangle STUV in this case. I'm going to make this small so at least uses. Okay, so that means ADE is half as well. Okay. All right. So hopefully this makes sense. So BC and ADE should be half of each other. So let's go. Right. Total for B and C plus C is equal to 3 plus 1 go to 4 units, right? So total area of A plus D plus E is equal to 2, 3, 1. So 2 plus 3 plus 1 equal to 6 parts. So let's get lowest. Since they are the same, let's get lowest common multiple of 6 and 4, which is equal to 12. Okay, 6 and 4 is 12. So that means in this case, right, for A, B, C, A, D, E, right? And then we just want to get what is this, right? Okay, so B, C, A, D, E is 3 is to 1, right? And then we also want to get total, right? So in this case, this is 4, right? Okay, so 4. Then we want to get the AD, this one total also. So that means, okay, I don't need total lah, but 3 is to 1. So we want to get the total to be 12. So what this means is we need to just multiply this by 3 in this sense. So I'm just going to put rectangle. Just multiply everything by 3, right? Just everything by 3. And what would this become? So this will then become, let me just grab all of this. Okay, so this will be 9, 3, and then 12. Okay, that's what I see over here. Okay, same goes to this. So instead of multiply by 3, we want to get multiplied by 12, right? 2, sorry. And then for this will then become, so 2 times 2 will be 4, right? 6 and then 2. That means we get 12, right? In total. That's what we see over here. Okay, so that means if I to draw like this, right? Since the total is the same, so we want to know what's A and B, right? So A and B over here, since their total is the same, that means B is, in this case, will be 9, and then A is 4. That's it. So the answer is 4 over 9. Okay, so yeah, that's it lah. That's the answer. There you go. All right, that's it for booklet B. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want more of this kind of video, subscribe down below and comment down what other things you want me to go through next. See you in the next one. Bye bye.